The other day I was driving on the freeway, a car in front of me picked up two rocks and hit my windshield. It made two little chips on my windshield. Now I need to find a way to fix it. So I went online and found out this windshield repair kit, and it's a popular one and a lot of people use it and success. So I bought this one, and let's open it up and take a look what's inside. Let's open it up and see what's inside the box. First, there's a little piece of paper, and inside give you the steps and instruction on how to fix the windshield correct. So you can take a look when you get it. Next, let's see what's inside the bag. Here is the syringe with a plunger and with a lock mechanism. I'm touching it, and which later you will know what that lock mechanism for. It's very important. I'm pulling the plunger out and try to test the lock mechanism, make sure it works, and when I do it, I know what to do next instead of guessing. Next is a push pin you may need to clean out some of the broken glasses. Next is the device you put the drop in and locate it on top of the glass. And here is the alcohol swab, help to clean out the glass before you do the work. And this is the adhesive disc, you put it on the glass and attach to the device, and also a transparent little piece of plastic strip. Next is the little tube, inside has the resin. And last, you have the razor blade here to remove the dry resin. Here are the two rod chips on my windshield. I'm going to fix it. First, I need to clean it with Dawn soap to remove any oil and grease on my windshield. Then wipe it off with a paper towel. Make sure to take out all the grease. Next, use the push pin to clean out any loose glass in the pit. And you will see some of the loose glasses particle came out, tiny particle, and I need to vacuum it out. After the vacuum, I use the alcohol wipe to clean the surface again, make sure it's all clean, no dirt, no grease. Peel off the cover on the back side of the adhesive seal. Line up the center hole to the rod chips. Press down with the finger and put pressure on the seal. Make sure it's tight to the glass. Then peel off the red cover on the top. Sometimes the cover is stick together so good it's hard to come off. Eventually I get it peeled off. Now I'm trying to align the pedestal, matching the shape of the seal, and make sure that the filler tube points upward. Also push it down to make a tight seal. Next is to get ready for the resin. I use a scissor to cut the top off. I put at least 7 to 8 drops into the fill tube until you fill all the way to the top. Next is the push the tip of the syringe tightly into the fill tube. Ensure that the connection is tight. With one hand, hold down the syringe. Then the other hand, pull the plunger all the way up until it clicks to the top notch of the plunger and hold it with the spring clip. You feel a lot of resistance while pulling it up because it creates a vacuum. Set your alarm clock and let it sit for at least 10 minutes. Looking from the inside of the car, looking out the windshield, you see a lot of bubbles start forming. After 3 minutes, it's a lot less, but still a lot. To help to get rid of the bubble, I knock on the windshield. Let's see if it will work or not. It's about 10 minutes. It's only a few left, you can see. Alright, 10 minutes is up. Here I made a big mistake and don't do what I do. These tabs are supposed to pull the plunger out of the pedestal and let air go inside. And I didn't do it. I pulled the clip and the plunger go all the way in. And because there's some air already pulled out in the vacuum, the rubber end of the plunger does not reach the bottom of the syringe because there's air that pulled out from the vacuum. Here you see if I relieve the downward pressure of the plunger, you can see air right there. These are the amount of air that got pulled out from the rod chips. Because of the mistake, I have to push pressure down and holding the plunger for at least 20 minutes. When I look back, I should just remove the syringe from the pedestal and then put it back in. But at that moment, I wasn't that clear of what I was doing. Also, my phone was dead, the battery dead. Here I can show you the last step. You put the film in with the resin and leave it out in the sun for 15 minutes at least, and then use a razor blade to peel off the resin from the film. Some people recommend put the razor blade 90 degrees to the windshield, and I disagree. I think better is to parallel to the windshield. That's the best. Here you see it did a good job to fill the hole, but the crack's still there, so it couldn't fix any crack. Alright, done with the first one. Now get ready for the second chip. I used the provided push pin to clean out any loose glass particle inside the chip the best I can do and vacuum out any loose particles. Next I used the provided alcohol pad to clean the surface and make sure no oil or any dust on it, which may affect the adhesive seal how well it will stick on the glass. Is to peel off the back of the adhesive seal and make sure that the hole line up to where the chip is and the rectangular tab is pointing upward. Then I press my finger on top of the seal to make sure there's a tight bond. You don't want the resin to leak out from the bottom of the seal. Because I pressed down the top cover so much, now I have difficulty removing the cover and I have to use a razor blade to help me to peel off the top cover. Now it's time to line up the pedestal with the seal. Make sure that rectangular tab on the top match up. After it match, press down the pedestal onto the seal as much as possible and use your finger to push it down to make sure there's a tight bond. I still have quite much of resin in my first tube that I can still use for this, so I drop also 7 to 8 drops of resin into the filler hole until the resin fill up all the way to the top of the hole. Yeah, I'm here double check, make sure the seal are tight and the bond are secure before I use the syringe. Before I push the tip of the syringe into that fill hole and make sure that whole set thing is all secure and nothing loose and they're all tight bond together. Next is to use one hand and holding the syringe at the bottom and use the other hand to pull the plunger upward until it reaches the lower notch and then use the spring clip to lock it. And let's see for at least 10 minutes. Mine took longer. Here in this clip, it didn't show the whole process, but while pulling the plunger upward, you create a vacuum and there's a lot of resistance. While waiting in that 10 minutes, I'm knocking the glass on the top because it will help the bubbles to come out from the crack. Warning, make sure you don't knock on the glass too hard, otherwise you will create a crack inside and you don't want that to happen. Here you can see I'm filming from the inside of the car and you see so many bubbles are forming. So what I'm trying to do is I try to knock on from the inside of the car so the bubbles can come together and disappear. There's a lot of bubbles sucked out from the chip and the crack. Okay, 10 minutes is up. Time for the next step. Last time I forgot to remove the syringe from the pedestal. This time I will not forget. So I remove the syringe and let air go in. Then I put the tip of the syringe back into the hole of the fill tube and make sure it's all tight and secure. Now it's time to push the air which pushes the resin into the cracks. One hand I hold the bottom of the syringe with my thumb on the clip. The other hand is push the plunger all the way to the upper notch and use the clip to secure it. According to the manual, the minimum wait is 20 minutes. Let's sit there for 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes up. Mine is like 21 minutes. It's time to remove the syringe from the pedestal. Next, I use the razor and help me to loosen up the outer edge of the pedestal, and then I pull it out from the seal. And use the razor to remove all the adhesive seal and don't leave any residue, especially the area where you have to put the clear film on top. Here I put 2 to 3 drops of resin on top of where the chip is, and then put that clear film and lay it on top. Double check, make sure there's no bubble between the film and the glass. Then I park my car under direct sunlight for at least 15 minutes, the longer the better, to let the resin cure. This is a very important step. Here in this clip you see that the film is so attached to the glass, so I have to run the razor blade parallel to the glass to cut the film out. Then I use the razor blade as parallel as possible I can to remove any dry excessive resin on the top of the glass and then clean off the remaining with a towel with alcohol. Alright, here's the result. Okay, the 2 chips are okay. You can still see it, but way much better. But the hairline crack is there. Here is the picture before the fix. This is after under the sun. Here's the look from inside of the car, and you can still see it, especially when you're looking out under direct sunlight. Does it work? You judge. Alright, thanks for watching. Please hit the like button. See you later.